The Force is such a magnificent thing. Whether you use it for good and evil, I can see yourself down by no cards in your hand. Only 100 life points left. You know what? 1 life point left, all right? Being extra linked. You have nothing to win until you use that Yugi draw / Star Wars 4 style and draw the perfect card that you need. That is similar to what Kozmo's can do for you. Not really, but still. It's always nice to have a huge board of double Dark Destroyer, even if you don't really need it. You're probably forcing your victory anyways. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, notification bell you must hit, because we strong too. There you go. I want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this are not possible. I appreciate you guys' continued support. Without further ado, I present to you a competitive Kozmo deck profile for this format, or force this format. Hey, we still in there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so let's take a look at the stats. We are not in Kansas anymore because this deck is not what it used to be. I want to say that this deck is a local level event guy. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It's a fun deck to play, but I don't think it'll be successful in any other event. If you guys would like to see a different Kozmo variant, this is going to be a pure demise build. You can click on this link and it'll take you directly to what I feel is a more competitive version through Metal Foe True King or Metal Foe Fire King Kozmo, but this is a pure demise variant. It's very fun to play. Again, I just don't think it'll do anything past a local level event. So let's start off by talking about its other stats. I think that its attack is fairly high. Being able to summon a 3,000 untargetable monster, even a 2,800 untargetable monster is good. It has everything that you're looking for inside of a deck, except for the ability to consistently make boards or the power to flesh out a lot of monsters on your side of the field. Unfortunately, Emergency Teleport is still at 1, Dark Destroyer is still at 1. I think a couple of changes or possibly even some new Kozmo cards, we could be looking at a completely different deck. But let's start off with the monsters so you guys can get better acclimated to what we play. Starting off with 2 copies of Dark Destroyer. My boy is off the list. Unfortunately, Emergency Teleport isn't, so that does hinder its OTK potential. If you guys did not play inside of the format, the only thing you would need is a Kozmo Farm Girl and another ship. That's really all you needed. You would get some damage with Farm Girl. Farm Girl would summon Dark Destroyer, get some damage with your other ship, summon the Dark Destroyer off your Farm Girl, Dark Destroyer to destroy the other ship. The other ship would trigger to bring you another monster to your side of the field. So that little nifty card combo pretty much got you game almost every single time. And it's really exciting to see it because this deck can still do it, just not as consistently as it used to. Unfortunately, again, Emergency Teleport is at 1. Ultimately, this guy is a walking boss monster, 3,000 untargetable, and allows you to destroy your opponent's cards on their turn, so it's pretty good. 2 copies of Kozmo Forerunner. 2,800 attack, gives you 1,000 life points, can't be targeted. Still a pretty decent card. If we had 3 Dark Destroyer, I'd probably be running 1 less copy, but I do still think it's a pretty good card because it's untargetable, it gives you life points, and it's a pretty nice body. It also cycles Kozmo monsters to your side of the field. Lastly, for the big ships, is 2 copies of Kozmo Nip Slip. What this card does is when it's normal summon or special summon, you can destroy 1 spell or trap card. Keep in mind, you can actually destroy your own Kozmo towns and gain the effect of searching through the summons of Slip Rider, but it also provides disruption to your opponent. I wish it were a level higher sometimes, and then other times I'm like, you're fine where you're at. I don't run Kozmo Dogfighter. I think it's a decent card, but not in this particular variant. And I don't run Landwalker, another card that I think is pretty good, but not particularly in this variant. In this particular variant, we want to get out Dark Destroyer or abuse our ships, the fact that they can destroy themselves and cycle through other ships. Next is another great boss monster of the deck is Kozmo Dark Lady. She is amazing. She is a psychic monster, so she can tutor herself into, or she's a pilot, she can tutor herself to Forerunner and Dark Destroyer. But even more importantly, she allows you to once per turn negate the activation of a monster effect by paying 1,000 life points. Really good card, probably the monster that you want to go into alongside of a Dark Destroyer Destruction, which will give you pretty significant board control. Next, for our other pilots, is 3 copies of Kozmo Trash Can. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't like this card. The reason why I don't like it, I think I have a fairly good reason, is because you have to wait all the way into your end phase for you to randomly get a card. It's just, But fortunately, we can make up for this. This is probably the best Kozmo card, like when you just play a pure Kozmo variant, mainly because you put the other Kozmo monsters in your graveyard, other Kozmo cards in your graveyard, and you make abuse of them. It's still a pretty good card. I just personally don't think it's a great card in more competitive variants unless we get some more support. Next is one copy of Kozmo Sword Troopers. This guy is used to special summon Dark Lady from your graveyard to your side of the field when you know, use Tin Can to send it to the graveyard. You can use it to summon Tin Can and Farm Girl, but again, I'm just telling you, you're probably going to use it to summon Dark Lady. And then one copy of Kozmo Farm Girl. This card used to be a $75 card. I've had it for that long. The best thing about Farm Girl is that when she inflicts damage, you can add one Kozmo monster from your deck to your hand. Now, you would think that you'd want to play cards like Honest, YuGiOh, and all of this stuff. That's not good because you have to waste your battle phase, attack with the Farm Girl. That's too much work. I think if we did get like Emergency Teleport to 3, we would probably change the build to be more Farm Girl orientated because she would be one of the better pilots in the deck, getting us whatever she needs. But until then, I think she's a solid one. For the spells, we run 3 copies of Kozmo Town, Funky Town. And no, we're not in Kansas anymore when you activate this card. It allows you to tutor your banished Kozmo cards or monsters to your hand for a price, 100 per level. And when it's destroyed, it searches a Kozmo card from your deck to your hand, so your opponent's gonna have a hard time getting rid of this, and it'll allow you to continuously get resources. We followed up with 2 more copies of Kozmo Town through terraforming to search it, and then 3 copies of Gold Sarcophagus. These 2 cards in tandem basically get you a reinforcement of the army. You activate Gold Sarcophagus to banish whatever Kozmo monster you need, and then you Kozmo Town it to your hand, which then gives you the monster that you need to start off. That's why you can run a low count of monsters and get away with it. Next, we run 3 copies of Card of Demise. I have a love-hate relationship for this card inside of the deck. The good thing about this card is that it allows you to draw 3 cards. The bad thing is that you can't inflict damage, so the Farm Girl route was literally out of the question. You know, I am her father anyways. And then the next thing is you can't special summon, so summoning any other like Kozmo monsters really does suck, but it does allow you to draw 3 cards, so it is what it is. It's a decent card. I think it's necessary for a pure Kozmo variant. Next is 2 copies of Scapegoat. This deck does not need his extra deck. I'm contemplating playing Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, but I run Demise, so like the odds of me demising into it was just like, oh, that sucks. But Scapegoat does allow me to like have extra deck manipulation, and it's a cool combo with Scapegoat that allows you to get Cyber Dragon Infinity. Reasoning, all your monsters are pretty much a different level. You're gonna activate Reasoning. A lot of times you're gonna get it right. Emergency Teleport and Allure Darkness. Only run 1 Allure Darkness. There are not enough targets in Kozmo to consistently use multiple Allures. I found that out the hard way. I think it's 2 Dark Destroyers, 2 Kozmo Dark Lady, and Sword Troopers. That's not enough to run 3 Allures. And the reason why Allure is actually good in this deck and bad in like most Dark decks is because you can Allure like your Dark Destroyer and then Kozmo Town it back, so it's free. Next, we do run quite a few traps. I think that this is the best trap for the deck. Is 3 copies of Cosmojo. I could be playing it wrong. You could be playing 2 Cosmojo and get away with it. The best thing about this is that it destroys one of your Cosmo monsters to destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field. I actually have mine in German, so I can't really. Target 1 monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, banish 1 card your opponent controls. Alright, so it doesn't even target the cards your opponent controls. So it's a free banish. It's awesome. More importantly, use it on a big ship to disrupt your opponent after you summon Dark Destroyer or whatever, and then you can get a card like Tin Can to further get you resources, or even just go down into a Forerunner or whatever. It's just really good for destroying on your big ships. 2 copies of Call It a Hunted. I want to play 3 copies because I actually play 5 copies of Call It a Hunted. Back to the Front summons the monster in defense, but it isn't a continuous spell card. Call It a Hunted summons the monster in attack, but it is a continuous. Great for summoning Kozmo Dark Lady. Great for summoning ships, because if this card goes away, then you know your ships go away and you still get their effects. And then this is still great because you know it's no continuous, so you're not bound to that. And then lastly, we wrap it up with 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tributing not only disrupts your opponent's board, but allows you to activate your ship monster's effects. So I thought that this was a very solid trap lineup. I don't think I would run any more traps, maybe the strikes actually if I were to run more traps, but I wouldn't really take out anything from this deck. In my opinion, it's just a really solid local level event deck. Now that's it for the main board. For the extra deck, I'm just gonna kind of blaze through it because again, there's not a lot to talk about. Boral Sword, Boral Load, Game Hitters, and the best link for Topologic Bomber Dragon. This card is awesome because you can summon it and then summon like a Kozmo Dark Destroyer under it, or like, you know, a Kozmo monster that if you search and wipe your opponent's board. Summon Sorceress is part of the combo I'll show you guys. Nightmare Unicorn, just generic. Nightmare Cerberus, I hate this card. 2 Nightmare Phoenix, generic and great. Rapodicus, this card's amazing for the combo. The reason why it's so amazing is because you turn 2 scapegoats into a Reproticus. You turn the last token into whatever. You Reproticus the last Link Creebo or Link Spider into a dinosaur, and then you can make a free summon sorceress and go from there. Link Spiders, you run 2 copies, have the room. Link Creebos, you have the room to actually like solve all this. And then lastly is your Infinity package. You don't summon it often, but when you do, you do. Again, you guys could actually run Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries if you wanted to and get away with it, because the deck doesn't necessarily like need an extra deck. And you know, you can disrupt your opponent in that way. So there are quite a few ways to play Kozmos if you guys want. I actually really wanted to play Kozmo artifacts because like you can set your artifact cards to your side of the field. That's not great, but if you discard them, you can call 100 of them back to your side of the field, which is phenomenal because it gives you extra deck disruption and, you know, disruption on the field all in total. Now, the reason why I went against this is strictly because of space. Other than that, I probably would have played it. Also, the artifact spell card allows you to destroy Kozmo Town to get a free search. I probably will include another list of our Kozmo artifacts inside of on my Patreon, and let's just say 250 likes and I'll release it to the public. They'll probably already have it. There's just like me just changing the options so you guys get to see it as well. I did like the Kozmo artifact variant, but again, too many cards. Another thing I want to talk about is Pot of Desires. Phenomenal card. You can run Metal Foes in here, which does change the landscape of the deck. Again, if you guys want to see it, boop, click on that. That's going to take you to the Kozmo Metal Foe Fire Kings. Fire Kings were also good, but I felt that Fire Kings weren't enough to make the deck as explosive as I wanted to be, and you needed to add another component, whether it's Metal Foes or True Kings. And then True Kings is good because the Water one, if I remember correctly, can summon, and the Wind one can search. So you just abuse the living daylights out of those two in combination with each other to continuously get True King searches and True King summons, and then you make Calamities or your giant space fleet ship that like everything lands on the air carrier card, and then you can trish your opponent from there. Also, Fleet Fork Genius, you'll probably never summon it because giving up 2 machine monsters in your deck just isn't good. Also thought about Cyber Dragon Cosmos again, just giving you guys another heads up. Cyber Dragon Cosmos was fun, but it wasn't great. And the reason why Cyber Dragon Cosmos was so successful, I don't have my binder so I can show you guys, but Cyber Network allows you to special summon all your banished light monsters. So you would banish cards like Forerunner and all that other stuff, your Cyber Dragons, and then you destroy, you know, your Slip Riders, your Forerunners, your Cyber Dragons. Then you destroy that to get all your Cosmo monsters you decided to for free. And then I guess if I think it destroyed all your spells and traps, so destroy Cosmo Town and get a free search on top of that. That was fun to play, but I never could find out a way to make it more consistent, if you guys know what I mean. I felt that this was the most consistent, pure version of Cyber Dragon, or of Kozmo, but I can definitely include those other 2 decks provided we get the likes. But that's it for the main deck and the extra deck. Side deck would be pretty much standard. Just play a lot of traps, evenly matched. Don't run Rivalry and Gozen, because that's not going to help you. And you'll be fine. But that's it for the main board and extra deck. I'm going to show you guys this awesome combo, and then we're going to be out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so you guys should have known that this deck wasn't a combo heavy deck in the first place. There is one in particular combo that I do think is pretty fun to play inside of the deck, but you know, it doesn't come up too often. What you are going to need for this combo is your Kozmo Nip Slip. That's right, guys, Kozmo Nip Slip. You're going to need Kozmo Sword Trooper or any Kozmo Pilot, as well as Scapegoat set on your opponent's turn, because that is the way to do it. So during your opponent's end phase, you activate Scapegoat, giving yourself 4 tokens. Now, normally, you guys would normally use those 4 tokens, one for Link Spider, Link Creebo plus a token to make a Nightmare monster, whether it's Cerberus or Phoenix, discard to draw the last token for the Link Creebo, and then you make a Link 4. This one's going to be a little bit different. You're going to use your first token, your first 2 tokens, my apologies. It kind of doesn't matter how you do it, but use your first 2 tokens for the summon of Reproticus, and then use another token for the summon of Link Creebo Reproticus to make a Link Creebo a dinosaur monster. And then you're going to follow up with using both of these monsters for another Link summon into your summon sorceress. Normal summon your Kozmo Sword Troopers. I'm just going to move this over just for visual representation. Normal summon your Kozmo Sword Troopers and then banish it to summon your Slip Rider. Summon sorceress, you target Slip Rider to summon your other Slip Rider to your side of the field. Use both of those monsters for the summon of your Infinity and then your Cyber Dragon Nova. Finally, you can use your token to special summon Linkuriboh back to your side of the field. And basically what that does, you can basically follow up with another Link if you guys so choose. No, there are 3, my fault, there are 3 plus effect monsters. Is Gumblar? I could have sworn Gumblar was a 2+. Yep, Gumblar is a 2+. So you can make the Topologic Bomber Dragon, which means afterward you can follow up by summoning a Kozmo ship and then special summoning it, destroying the whole board if you guys so choose. Or you could even just leave it like this, because this is not a bad board, because Linkuriboh does allow itself to tribute itself if your opponent is trying to attack over your Infinity. Infinity does give you a negate. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. And by the way, we do have a live duel vid. I'm pretty sure I've showed an annotation card for you guys to click on. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am.